telling time. Angelica, what time does your clock say? 3:30. Benny, what does your clock say? 9 o'clock. And Emma, what does your clock say? 10:30. And how did you know to go with the 10? Your hand is in between the 11 and the 10. Because you always go with the smaller number. Shall we go in a race? Oh, what's the pattern? What? Nice observation, Aubrey. All right. And the next three can come up. All right, next three. All right, so look at your clock. All right, go ahead and write the time for me. All right, let's start with the mirror. Mirror, what time does your clock say? 10:30. And Aurora, your clock says 1:30. And Elena, what did you say your time says? 7:30, okay? Now look, this can be a little tricky sometimes. Remember we said when it's in between two numbers, we have to go with the lower one. Sometimes it can be hard to tell. But remember when you work on your morning work, you can take your pencil, watch it. If I take my pencil and I just extend my arrow and I make it past my clock and I draw it out like that, what is it? Where's my arrow at? Is it on a number or is it in between two numbers? It's in between two numbers, okay? So if it's in between two numbers, do I go with the higher number or the lower number? The lower number, okay? So which should we put right here? 6, there you go. All right, good job, John. And sometimes it can be tricky, okay? Sometimes it can be tricky. That's why it's a good idea to take your pencil and just make that arrow a little bit longer. All right, go ahead and set that. Next three. Who hasn't come yet? Yeah, you can restart them. Who hasn't come up yet? All right, Christian, Brendan. Are they all the only? Yeah, go ahead. Small. And Jesse, you haven't come up yet, Jesse?
There's more up there. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's supposed to be 5.
Brendan, you can just sit right. Just sit right here and I'll get you back together. All right, here we go. Looking good. Oh, good eye, Jesse, good eye.
I was checking.
You did, okay, so look, Jesse went back, Jesse had, step to the side a little bit. First, Jesse had 4:30. He decided to go back and double check himself because he knows it can be tricky. So when you really looked at that line, you saw that it was in between the,
4 and the 3.
and you remembered that you needed to go with the
Lower number.
lower number. All right, and Joseph, same thing, you went here, you looked at in between the 6 and the 7 and you decided to go with 6. We had 6:30. All right, Christian, let's look here. Who decided just one? All right, what is our hour hand? Is our hour hand the short hand or the long hand?
Short.
It's the short hand. All right, look at that. If I draw and I make my arrow, what's it in between? And the 1 and the 2. So do we need to go with the lower number or the higher number if it's in between? Lower number. So if we got to change that 2 to a 1. All right, so let's do that. Let's change that 2 to a 1. All right, and then when we look at our long hand tells us the minutes, okay? So we're working with either hour, which is 0, 0, or the half hour, which is 30. Okay, so when our minute hand is on the 6th, is it o'clock or is it 30? 30. All right, you want to change that? There you go. Okay, all right, good job, Christian. All right, Brendan, you wanna come up, darling? Everybody else stand a turn?
Yeah. Except Brandon.
All right, Mr. Brendan. All right, you can go sit down. This is two. All right. All right, Brendan, can you write the time for me? All right, good job. 1 o'clock, because your hour hand is pointing to what, Brendan? Your hour hand to the 1, and your minute hand is pointing to the 12. So it is 1 o'clock. So when it's 0, 0, we say o'clock. All right, so you guys did a good job, okay? Our hour hand is which hand? The short or the long hand?
Short.
The short hand, and our minute hand is the long hand. And we're telling time. What is our first step? What do we need to do first? When we're looking at this, what do I want to write down first? Do I want to look at my hour first or my minutes first? Lillian. I'm going to look at my hour first. I'm going to look at my shorthand, decide what my hour is, put it down. I'm going to put my 2 dots, and then after that, I can do what? Then I'm ready to put down my, Grayson? My minutes, okay. All right, we're going to go to our seats, not yet. We're going to go to our seats, and then we're going to play a computer game to review a little bit, okay? So, can my girls very quietly get up and go to their seats?